This week on Hermitcraft.
Oh. Oh, Ren's here. Is Ren a hippie now?
Welcome to the Hermitcraft Recap. My name is PixelRiffs, our writer is LoyXP, and as the 1.14 update runs wild on the community, the Hermitcraft server remains an island in the update aquatic.
Fortunately, we are still on 1.13.2.
Not wanting to mess with the finicky ecosystem of their world or deal with chunks of it just randomly not rendering on a whim, the Hermits have decided to stall on updating and wait for the developers to hotfix their bugs, especially now that the group has pointed most of them out in their peripheral videos.
And I gotta be honest, I'm not overly excited about the 1.14 changes or news, because to me, like the village and pillage stuff is mostly explorational, and I'm not really super into that kind of stuff in Minecraft. Overall, I mean, I'm really excited, but I think the biggest excitement for me is the TNT, where you can now build auto miners and stuff like that.
We do plan to upgrade to 1.14 on this world. However, we won't be doing so until 1.14 is ready. And the release of 1.14 on Tuesday, it definitely was not ready. There were rendering issues, there was additional bugs introduced. Yeah, 1.14 has some pretty major problems that we're hoping here on Hermitcraft are addressed so that we can actually upgrade successfully.
But while we don't have an update to Minecraft, we can at least update you on the Hermit's activities. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week.
Stay hydrated during all your busy building projects.
Starting with TFC, who continues to take advantage of the architect's crew spending all this time around Sahara, checking on his mass kelp storage to discover that about 1/3 of it is already full.
This is going to take a while to fill this up.
At least he can now devote his time to preparing for the new automatic wool gathering mechanics in 1.14, reorganising his sheep pens, and mocking up designs for a more systematic shearing station.
Alright, this is going to take me a while to get all the sheep out of there into here.
Azuma Void would benefit from having spare wool, having taken it upon himself to put together banners for all the main area nether portals in the hub.
The banner is for your log chopping island. Yes, there are snowballs coming for it. That's coming from the spawn portal, which used to be somewhere up there and it was removed, so now it synchronises with Ren's portal. That's something we've got to fix for him.
He even visits the Season 3 Nether Hub for inspiration to grab designs for such prominent members as Biffa.
And here it is on Planet Minecraft. I have reassembled it here. It makes it easy to edit because you can move layers around and change the colours of things on the fly, which is super helpful. And there we go. I got to say I've been really enjoying this project.
To further help public transportation, Azuma puts together an HRN station of his own for his Tower Bay area, located conveniently all of like 30 blocks away from Python's one, obviously a subway riding distance. Though Tower Bay has become much more of a landmark, with Azuma functionally finishing it, all terraformed and decorated and ready for visitors, which is still a moot point because everyone uses Elytra. False Symmetry for one even creates a full-on firework factory to feed into her flying habit. The gunpowder part of it was assembled ages ago and then forgotten, so making a sugarcane farm to go with it is not that big of a deal.
So because, of course, we've got the bedrock here, we're going to have to be a little bit more careful than I'd planned. And nothing will happen until... And then, hopefully, that won't happen.
Now, on wings of her own making, she can get a much nicer view of the medieval district she's just done terramorphing and the cathedral she's just finished. And if she swaps some of that sugarcane for bamboo when the server updates, she can easily get onto the scaffolding market Impulse was hoping to dominate with that exact trick.
My sugarcane farm, my giant sugarcane farm that I built a long time ago, all we need to do, take the sugarcane out and turn it into bamboo, and we're gonna have a crazy amount of bamboo. I don't want anybody else to go get the idea to try to beat me to this. So maybe we keep that between us.
With that in mind, Impulse returns to the Derp Mall to claim a spot for a bamboo shop. While he's there, he also fixes the problem of elevators to the mezzanine level not having a down function, first by installing a sticky piston that pulls the soul sand out of the way for a minute, and later by removing the soul sand entirely and encouraging players to just swim up and down the water columns at their leisure.
I think this is the way to go, to be honest. People can just swim up and down. Duh. We don't need to overcomplicate things.
He also visits False's shop to buy more leather so he can craft additional books, having bought an entire shulker box full of mending books at iTrade thanks to paranoia over losing villager professions in the Village and Pillage update. It's understandable considering he's just put time and effort into his own private trading hall, shulker box ceiling and all. Still, a mass trading time-lapse later, he's feeling a little more prepared for the move to 1.14.
But first I want to restock this place because I came in here last episode. Anyway, I did get a chance to talk to Cub, and I asked him if he had been stocking this place while I was away, and he said no, so it's just that business has been a little bit slow in here, I suppose.
Rendog's own way of dealing with the change is to stockpile on sugarcane farms, and so they start popping up all over the fantasy district. With new villager trading mechanics to explore, Ren's decided he wants a low-key paper farm so he can rustle some pages under the noses of the nearest librarians. To fit them in with the fantasy district, he decides to go with form over function, by which we mean they have no function whatsoever. The stone case around them might look fancy, but the observer is placed 4 blocks up, when sugarcane naturally only grows to 3 blocks high. We took a brief glance at his Saturday video and it looks like he's realised his mistake, but we'll cover that next time. What we get to cover this time is, well, this.
Hey man, this is Rendog the hippie with a very important public service announcement, man. Hermit Island was once a really beautiful place, man, filled with amazing flowers and animals, man. But now that big industries like ConCorp and Sahara, man, are starting to see the profits flowing in, man, we can see some serious damage being done to the environment, man. And so with this in mind, man, the Hermit Hippie Collective has decided to take some action, man.
In protest at ConCorp's alleged sludging of the central shopping district, Ren's hippie alter ego Rendog has driven a campervan up onto their lawn and is protesting the spill and coincidentally selling these woven hemp sandals. Also, could you spare him some change for gas? He's got to get himself away from this place. And it says here in pencil, yes, that's a Smash Mouth lyric picks, and no, we're not cutting it from the script. No? Okay. Surprisingly, his protest actually reaches the heads of ConCorp, and CubFan comes in to investigate the spill before cleaning it up. The story of a pipe randomly spewing sewage really didn't add up, since Doc M's NHO visit way back when the factory was first built was supposed to have sorted the whole thing out.
This lake here used to be polluted from the dead coral shop. However, early on in the season, we were called out on it by Doc M77, and he called for us to remove the pollution, which we did. Yeah, we basically plugged up this pipe, and it was basically a dry pipe. In fact, I'll show you.
Having demonstrated the humane and ethical disposal of the toxic waste currently in use by the factory, Cub also points out that the pipe had been bricked off ages ago, and so the slime is coming from outside the house.
Yeah, we have been framed by Sahara. Sahara, in their infinite greed, have decided to try and frame us and have turned some of the other hermits against us. But because we're an environmentally sound company, we're going to go ahead and make sure this is disposed of properly by putting it in this chest.
His theory as to where the spill came from is essentially the one who smelt it, though it's a no-brainer anyway, as the Venn diagram of who has too much slime and who wishes ConCorp out of the picture is not just a circle, it's a very Grian-shaped dot.
And let's see, we now want to check out this camper van, the Hermit Hippie Collective. I'm going to keep on my hazmat suit because, hippies, so gotta keep it on.
There are other ways in which Cub affects the ecosystem though, as he builds up several high-reaching mountains around the ConCorp territory just so one does not simply walk into it. The animals populating those hills have been refugeed to a pen and given names suggested by the audience.
Meep the sheep, Prob Llama, Yo Mama Llama, Pig Casso, and then finally Lamborghini.
That is in sharp contrast to what Grian does with his bovine companions when it's time to stockpile on item frames for another infinity room.
There's well over 1,000 entities here. 1,000 cows.
Since every architect project apparently needs one, a glowstone and maps void was planned for Sahara's basement too, and bigger than before. So it ended up lagging out their Minecraft clients, and they had to scale it down significantly, making most of that cow violence completely pointless.
Iskall logged in and he went, "Oh, what's going on?" So I think we're going to have to downsize this, meaning most of today's episode was completely pointless.
Not nearly over with eco-terrorism, Grian moves on to littering. The newest PR stunt is the oldest PR stunt, to kamikaze oneself into a fellow hermit from orbit, having your inventory filled with paper renamed to say Shop at Sahara. Thankfully, player collision doesn't account for velocity nor paper cuts, and it just looks like a person has exploded near you into several rolls of toilet paper.
He's not even picking up the leaflets. Oh no. What is this? Do you feel like you want to shop at Sahara, maybe? I think I made her jump there. I think I made her jump.
Though anyone questioning Grian's Elytra skills will have an opportunity to outdo him at his own game once the Elytra course is complete. Now that the rings of it are better blended in with their surroundings, it doubles as a pixel hunting challenge.
And then I want you to turn and go through a ring here, and then through the ice one, and then it's a little bit open for debate. So I think what I'm going to do is make just a couple more rings to make this actually fit in, and we'll take it from there. But this is basically how it's going to shape up.
Iskall has decided that since everyone who'll be shopping at Sahara is a massive nerd, or perhaps they want some reassurance that the monolithic storefront hasn't just swallowed their money, they would probably appreciate a progress bar to watch. So he installs one that tracks and orders progress from payment to shipment.
Selected, so at this point in time the items have been selected, so this is like packing items, reaching warehouse, packing items, and then the last one probably be on delivery back home. So we can't really do that yet because we haven't decided between me and Mumbo where the rail is gonna go.
But despite all this modern technology, Sahara still needs brand awareness to drive sales, and with ConCorp's flashy logo popping up basically everywhere in the shopping district, the architects boys need something to match. Iskall's first attempt is a mammoth effort emulating the Sahara text and yellow bars from the storefront itself, but when he shows it to Daddy Grian in the hopes of getting his artwork pinned to the fridge, the Big G still thinks ConCorp's is better.
Boom. Take it in. Take it in, bro. Take it in. Nice. Can't help but to think ConCorp's looks a little better. You have no idea how hard I fought to make this.
We're not saying this is why Iskall burns the entire stock of Grian's diorite shop, but we're not saying it either. One video and several live streams later, Iskall returns with a redesigned logo which looks much more fancy and corporate. Now he'd better hope the server switches to 1.14 and he can lock the map with a cartography table before ConCorp vandalizes it.
The big test isn't to put it next to the Sahara old one, the big test is to put it next to the beautiful Conbat one. And I gotta say, that is comparable. It really stands out who is who, and they are definitely on the same sort of level, I feel at least.
The update is at least on his mind, as the rest of his week is spent trading away all the resources he's farmed before the villagers update and the crop farms break. And finally, there's good times with Scar, and now that the architect bunch has proven themselves kinda untrustworthy, it's him who has to build an HRN station for the futuristic district. Fittingly, it's a rhombusy floating building with a jet booster at the bottom of it, levitating in mid-air as to help the line jumping from the nearby cliff. Made in ConCorp colours, right in front of Sahara, with architect bases in the background. What an absolute power move.
Final design for the RCN. Wait, no, HRN, not RCN. And I think it is looking really, really cool. Now there's so much more we're going to add to it. All the additional floating platforms. We still need to come up with what's going to go on the top. I actually have a really good design, but unfortunately, I am just completely beat.
And that's just about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is Pixelriffs. This week we both fought the Ender Dragon in our Skyblock collab, which was entirely unexpected, but a link to that is in the end screen theatre if you want to know how many times we died. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.